Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man 2 Part 2. This is now time we take out the last 4 Robot Masters, last 4 remaining. Robot Masters still haven't destroyed yet. So we're gonna go after one of many Robot Masters that's weak against the Metal Blade. Woodman, because he's made out of wood. A Metal Blade would just cut him up into little pieces of firewood that we could easily use. So around the forest here, Woodman lives in a forest, because where else would he live? He likes to live with woodland creatures, where you have Wily's bats hanging around, there's like jumping rabbits everywhere. But none of this is a match for our Metal Blade. We just destroy all this, run here and clear. We just run in here with the Metal Blade and start a huge massacre and just downright murder every enemy we come across. And maybe if we're lucky, they might give us something for destroying them. Destroying all of Dr. Wily's minions, his robot henchmen, whatever you want to call them. So this level is, you know, it's just a standard for the levels of this game, which is really good. This game does have some pretty high standards overall. And so there's some more flicker there, as you can see. This game is still filled with flicker, which I think the later games kind of fixed. I didn't really notice much flicker in the later games. The more I think of it now, too, I think the Mega Man Anniversary Collection fixed a lot of stuff or changed a lot of stuff for this game. I didn't still notice flicker in the Anniversary Collection, at least the PS2 version of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. For the longest time, I've only ever had this game on the Mega Man Anniversary Collection for PS2 that I got for Christmas in 2010. I didn't like Mega Man 2 that much back in those days, simply because it seemed like over the top. Like, how do you do this? How is it? Especially if you don't have proper guides. I even looked up guides and I wasn't really good at doing a lot of stuff in this game. But now I find the game to be somewhat easy. Or at least I play on the normal difficulty, and I find this to be somewhat easy. I don't know, maybe they changed stuff in the Anniversary Collection, I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe the Anniversary Collection betrayed me on some level. But boy, for sure, there's going to be none of that betrayal here, because this is a ROM of the actual game, not from the Anniversary Collection. And look at that, they give us huge, large room just for a small little rabbit easily killed with our Metal Blade. That's why I like doing Metal Man stages, one of the first stages in the game, because then you get his Metal Blade, which is highly overpowered. And I recommend doing Airman first, too. The reason why I recommend doing Airman as well, because you get Item 2 first, and Item 2 can be very useful in Metal Man stage. Those things are indestructible. What do you call those? Those like turkeys or birds? I don't know what those are supposed to be. But they are pretty powerful. It's almost impossible to jump over them. They could jump over you if you just stand there, but they're going to hit you most of the time, take out most of your health. That's nothing compared to what we're about to do to Woodman right now. We're going to downright murder Woodman. We're going to slice him up and use him as firewood, because that's what he deserves to be used as, for what he's going to do to us. So he has a shield. It's a pretty crappy shield. It's nowhere near as good as the shield that Fireman had in Mega Man 1, because Mega Man 1 was a fire shield. Obviously, fire does a lot more damage than leaves, right? I'm starting to think the people that made this game were more wusses than the people who made Mega Man 1. Maybe Dr. Light is just that much better at building robots than Dr. Wily. Come on, fire versus leaves. I mean, they're both shield weapons. It's the second time I see a shield-type weapon. This game mostly relies on it being a shield weapon. It doesn't really do much. It just shoots out a crappy little shield. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't serve much of a purpose. It's one of the few, or maybe it's probably one of the few, or maybe useless weapons in this game. Now we're going after Flashman. Yeah, Flashman. This is kind of like, there's no ice level in this game, or really icy level in this game, but this level is the closest we get to an ice level. It's the ground, it's slippery. And that's something to do with the fact that the traction is slightly slippery too. Mega Man's 1 and 2 have slightly slippery traction. Some people say it's necessary, because when you stop, you don't just stop on a dime. He actually walks forward a little bit after he stops. It's not really noticeable most of the time, but sometimes it kind of stops a little bit when you stop, he kind of moves ahead, like a step or two after he stops running in this game. Mega Man does that. But it's like a sense of, like, I think, traction, or like a sense of, like, you know, like a sense of, I don't know what you call that exactly, but Mega Man's 3 and onwards don't do that at all. Mega Man just stops on a dime in Mega Man's 3 and onwards. But some people actually prefer that, though, because that way it gives them a better sense of control over the characters. There's no sliding off edges, or it seems more accurate for when you're going to jump on things, or things like that, or jump, or... There's a lot of platforming in these games. There's a lot of, like, jumping on things and landing on platforms, especially in Airman stage, but then again, I mean, I don't know, Airman, and then, Lackman stage in the first game had a lot of, like, accurate moments, but most of that's never really been much of a problem for me if you have really good hand-eye coordination, which is something you definitely need if you want to be playing for all these Mega Man games. That mech thing that Sniper Joe is in, it's completely immune to my Metal Blade. It's one of the few enemies in this game that the Metal Blade has no effect on at all. but it can be destroyed with Quick Command's weapon, which you don't have that yet. We're not going to get that till later in the game. But look at that, an E-Tank. It gave us a nice little E-Tank. So we use Crash Man's weapon to destroy these walls, because the Crash Bomb's really good at destroying all of these walls in the game. So now we're going to use Flash Man's weakness, which is the Metal Blade. Yeah, it's the Metal Blade. But I don't think Crash Bomb actually does anything on it. I'm pretty sure that the bosses might have more than one weakness. I don't know. I don't know if the Crash Bomb's any Robot Master's weakness, or I can't even remember what all the weaknesses are in this game. It doesn't matter most of the time to most people who play this game, because most people who play this game don't even use the weaknesses. They just use the Metal Blade for everything, which is what I'm about to do here too, as you can see. So Flashman's pretty much the first time-based. Like throughout the franchise, we're gonna come across Robot Masters that can stop time or freeze time, so it could work to your advantage to get through some levels that actually does serve a purpose for a lot of levels in some of those games. Flashman's the first known Robot Master in the Mega Man franchise that could stop time, which is something we will be needing in Quick Command stage, because we're wimps to some extent. And in Quick Command stage, it's a lot easier if you use Flashman's weapon. So looks like we just got item free. It's a little like, what do you say? It's like a little like thing that climbs on this, that crawls up the side of walls. You can jump on. It's like a platform you can jump on. It helps you get up walls and things like that. It's a useful thing to have for some levels in this game if you want to get some items and things like that, some extra items. It's called Item Free. It's going to help us get items. So now we're going after Quick Command. This level is one of the most challenging, probably is the most challenging level of the game. That is if you don't have Flashman's weapon, which we have Flashman's weapon, so yeah, that's so. Let's see, so you can't jump up there. We can get up there easy with Item Free. So you can see here, use Item Free, so I can pick up this one. I think we have a lot. We have 4 1-ups already. Man, I'm barely losing any lives in this game. This level really requires you to have really fast, and accurate reflexes and accurate control over Mega Man. I hope you have a really good controller. I imagine this might be challenging to do with an NES controller, because the NES controller is like a freaking sharp rectangle that went in your hands. I actually never played an actual Mega Man game on an actual NES before. I think that would hurt my hands if I did that, or at least if it's just a painful thing. I don't know, maybe it's not as painful as I'd imagine, I don't know. I imagine it wouldn't be the best, because the NES controller is never the best at anything. I'm playing this game on a PS1 controller from the early 2000s, and it works just good for games like these. I actually do have to configure the controls slightly in RetroArch so I can make it so the square button is just regular fire and the X button is jump. So now here's the first part where we're going to be coming across the reason why we need the Flashman's weapon, because it's going to shoot out a bunch of these. You have to pretty much run for these lasers. Can't get hit once. If you lay a single pinky on those laser beams, it's an instant kill death. You're gonna get destroyed instantly. There, at least it's giving us some energy to replenish our Flashman's weapon, which is good. At least the game is being nice, but the problem is if you get killed here and come back, the energy doesn't replenish itself. And look at that, it gave us another 1-up. This game actually is a lot more generous than people give it credit for. Most people this game has a reputation of being a cruel and unforgiving game to a lot of people, but actually, if you actually dig more into it, you'd actually find that a lot of this game is quite generous, actually. A little too generous sometimes. Maybe this game could be more challenging if it wasn't always giving you new lives and stuff like that. But then again, I never actually played this game on difficult before. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I already did do it on the Anniversary Collection and didn't know about it. I don't know. Cause I don't really trust the Anniversary Collection as much anymore now. I think it did. I've been replaying a lot of the Mega Man games lately, and boy, a lot of them are so different. I used to play those games all the time on the Anniversary Collection when I was a lot younger, and I would get through those games with ease. But now I play them, and it's like, holy crap, this is a big challenge. How did I get through this? Even I was asking myself that same question the other day. I was trying to get through the final boss at Mega Man 7. It's like, how did I do this when I was a lot younger? Is my memory really as good as I think it is? I don't know. I'm starting to think my memory is flawed. Then again, almost everyone has flawed memories. Why do you think people have fake memories? I think so many people, remember things falsely from what actually happened before. And there's a lot of that in Mega Man 2, because Mega Man does require a lot of, they say, memorization, memorizing which order you should play, because most Mega Man games are dependent on which, even though it's non-linear gameplay, you really should play the Robot Masters or play the levels in a specific order. It's not always easy to remember which order is which, or which weapons to use on which one, and especially in the later games, you're going to be having fine stuff that's hidden within levels, especially in the Mega Man X games. There's a lot of that in the Mega Man X games. You're going to have to go looking through levels to find stuff that's pretty much essential if you want to beat the game. So they're sending us a lot of these tellies after us. See, there's a lot of jumping and platforming here, and I'm seeing to get through this pretty good. The control in this game is actually pretty good. It's actually better than I originally thought it was, because this game does have some really good controls. I can see why a lot of people consider this to be a definitive example of what a Mega Man game should be. It's mostly just what I think of it as. It's a game that made Mega Man what it is. It's a game that set the standards for what Mega Man would become in the future. And there's some reappearing, disappearing blocks. These ones almost look like those bricks you could smash in the Mario games of Mario's head. It really does look kind of like that. I can imagine if we had some sort of like Mario weapon or something that allows us to smash the bricks or head, we would, I don't know, maybe find something there. No, I wouldn't do that. Mega Man, classic Mega Man never has any of that. And reappearing, disappearing blocks can never get destroyed. This is also a good place you could grind as well, too. You see those tellies there flying around. You can shoot at the tellies and destroy them. And you might get some, look at that. That one just gave me a health refill. Thank you, Telly, or whatever your name is. I might be giving them the wrong name, and then they might be pissed at me for calling them the wrong thing. A good thing Mega Man's shots can go through walls in this game. Pretty much all classic Mega Man games have Mega Man's shots go through the walls. I think there's something coming up here. Oh yeah, the Crash Bomb. We can use a Crash Bomb on there. We can destroy that wall. Of course, we wouldn't have had that at all if we didn't go after Crash Man first. We did go after Crash Man before he took on Heat Man. This guy's supposed to be built after Fireman, supposedly. He's like the wannabe Fireman from, or he's like poor man's Fireman, pretty much, if that makes any sense. Like, come on, Heat Man is just heat. Fireman is actually fire, which is something that actually damages things. Heat could damage stuff, but not as bad as fire damage, so really Fireman is by all means the better Robot Master. I think Dr. Wily was very unoriginal in building Robot Masters. Heat Man just looks like a frickin' lighter. Dr. Wily was probably playing with a lighter once and thought, hey, this thing would make a pretty cool Robot Master. I should use this, or I should make a robot out of this, or something like that. And so he did. We got Heat Man. Yeah, that thing's immune to our metal blade. But at least we get hit once. He doesn't seem to do a lot of damage against us, and that's all the only protection Heat Man seems to have. And so Heat Man's weapon is the most anti-heat weapon imaginable in this game. What else could that be? Well, it's Bubble Man's weapon, because bubbles are supposedly made out of water, which somehow damages heat or something like that. Or somehow bubbles are the opposite of heat somehow, or bubbles somehow make heat bubble up or something. I don't know the logic of that game. That's another thing about the weaknesses in this game. There is no logical sense. Like in Mega Man 1, the weaknesses did make logical sense. Iceman goes against Fireman because when ice melts it turns to water, which puts out fire, and Elecman was weak against the rolling cutter because it cuts up his electrical wires kind of thing. It actually didn't make sense like that. There was like a sense of logic behind it, but this time around, where's the logic? I don't think there is very much logic in the weaknesses in this game. It's something they were kind of slacking up. It's like, let's just use a metal blade. Let's just make the metal blade be everyone's weakness, and there, we have it good. And just maybe make a few odd Robot Masters not weak against the metal blade, and yeah, I think we have a good game here. Yeah, we have a good strategy here, a good selection of enemies. So now we got item 1 now, and now I've defeated all the Robot Masters, so we could go after Dr. Wily now. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.